Hey guys, it's me. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, appreciate you as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. First things first, I wanted to show you guys my blanket. So my friends Carly and Akira had gotten me this blanket because one, I'm always complaining I'm cold. I'm like always cold. I don't know what it is, but I'm always cold. And they got me a blanket, but it has my Check Please logo on it, and I love it. I'm trying to figure out like where I can put this, like on a wall. The backdrop, probably use thumbtacks or something to hang it up as I'm recording my videos, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. The logo was done by my soror, Irene. I have her Instagram in the description box below, so if you want to hit her up, she is a graphic designer, you want to hit her up for a logo, I suggest you do. Also, by the time you're seeing this video, I'm not sure if it'll be February. I know there's a few videos I recorded already for February that you'll see, but I don't know by the time you get this. I'm recording this on a Friday, January 29th, so you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. And this will either be posted by the 30th, the following day, the 31st, that Sunday, or the 1st February. But either way, I'm doing my 28 days of wearing Black-owned brands. This is not like my first time doing this. I got the idea from Scotty Beam. I think I mentioned that before. So I'm doing it again. I'm gonna try my best. There's nowhere to go, so I can't really like get dressed every single day in my house. I mean, I can, but I don't think I want to. But I will highlight Black-owned brands in my videos. That's the goal. So this is Tier, their hoodie and matching sweats. I will put a link in the description box below also. So if you don't know, Married at First Sight is back. Season 12, they are in Atlanta, Georgia. So this video is gonna be like my predictions on and first impressions on the couples and if I think they're gonna last or not. I will come back to this topic at the ends when they do decide if they're gonna stay together or not. I probably won't be doing like recaps in between because it's a lot of episodes. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I think it might get boring too. Anyways, it's 5 new couples, you know, and me and my friends Trey and Sydney, we kind of decided that like we felt like this season the, you know, experts didn't fully match them properly. I think it was more based on ratings this season, like who was gonna give us the most ratings. I felt like they did really well last season. Like last season was the first time I watched Married at First Sight completely. So I felt like they kind of did this based on ratings, but we'll see. And I don't have favorite couple to least favorite couple just yet. I have more so couple that probably least amount of drama to the most amount of drama, because the clips they showed for what's gonna happen throughout the season, chaos, violence, just pure mess, like a lot of mess. So if you haven't watched the season yet, maybe you don't wanna watch my video, but if you wanna watch it and then go back to the episode and see what I'm talking about, you're free to do so also. So I had to write down the couples because I was not remembering their names. I was giving them all nicknames. Like we was like Papi Chulo and Alfalfa and, you know, Young Girl. Like me and my friends had no like real names, but I looked up their names. So, you know, I'm gonna give them respect and call them by their names. So the first couple, Haley and Jacob. Jacob gives me meathead GTL. If you watch Jersey Shore, you know that means gym, tanning, laundry. That's the vibe he gives me, but socially awkward also. So he's not like a Pauly D or a Mike the Situation. He's more like a Vinny. But even Vinny had more social moments. But if I had to describe him, he gives me like the Vinny vibe. Really weirdo. He said himself nerd, quirky, but he seems like a really nice guy. And Haley, she's always been a bridesmaid girl on the show. I believe it's her. Yes, always been a bridesmaid. I think she said she's been a bridesmaid like 12 times. If you watch 27 Dresses, and then there's also a movie on Netflix called Always a Bridesmaid. Think of that main character like her. She's always been a bridesmaid, and now it's her time to be a bride. So they got paired up, they got married, and again, just really awkward vibes. I don't, on a scale of like 1 to 10, do I think they're gonna make it? I'm gonna give them like a 4. I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, they're mad, they're pairing. I don't know. It could work. It honestly could work. I don't even want to rate them, so scratch that. We're not rating them. It could work, but I think he needs to open up a little more. He's probably gonna struggle with like affection or not knowing how to fully show it. Like, he gives me that type of like touching your knee, is that okay? Or does this feel nice? Like that type of thing. And I feel like sometimes, you know, you can go with the flow with people and you know what you can do and what you can't do. Granted, you should always speak up regardless because, you know, consent is key. But I just feel like he gives me that vibe. Like, he's unsure of like how to show the affection the way a woman would want. So I don't know if they're gonna make it, y'all. I'm not too sure. It's giving me low-key, what's that, Christina and Henry from last season. But Haley's not like a Christina. I guess I'd say Jacob is more of like a Henry. Pretty quiet to himself. It takes a lot to get him to open up. So that's the first couple. Second couple, Clara and Ryan. Clara is the girl that, what would I say? What I call her? She's like me. Disastrous first dates, disastrous dating experiences. Not all my experiences have been bad, but like for Clara, she's had some really bad ones. She did talk about how one of the guys she used to talk to hit her up and sent her money so that she could agree to him wanting to date one of her friends. Mind you, her and this guy had slept together already. I felt bad for her. So like, I connected with her because I know what it's like to just continuously have bad dating experiences and you're just like, where is my knight in shining armor? Ryan, he keeps pushing. I believe he's Latinx. I always get this wrong. He's of Hispanic descent. I cannot remember. I feel like he is. But he kept talking about like, oh, being in interracial couples and how like he had struggled with that because he was dating a white girl, and there was a time where he was on a date with that girl and someone just walked up to him and was just like, this ain't right. So he kept constantly like pushing that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. He just kept talking about how his experiences were rough in school because of his race, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like that's what he talked about. Now, I feel like they could work, but Ryan has never said the L word, love, to anybody. He's never been in love with someone, he says. He's never told someone, I love you. And I think that's gonna be a problem for Clara because Clara seems like she wears her heart on her sleeve. So I don't know how that's gonna go. I want them to work because I feel like Clara deserves the best. And overall, he gives me like stoic, well put together. He works out. He knows what he wants in his life. But he's gonna have to open up his heart. I think that he's gonna have to be willing to be vulnerable with her to get to that level of love because she's ready to love and he seems like it's gonna take him a minute. He's giving me low-key Karen vibes from last season where it took Karen a much longer time than other people on the show to like open up to Miles because granted they were strangers, but also I watched an interview and, you know, she said editing made her look like a villain, so I feel bad for Karen. But anyways, back to season 12. Yeah, so Ryan, he's gonna have to open up. Third couple, Virginia and Eric. Virginia's 26 and I think Eric is 34, so there is an 8-year age gap. Now, there's nothing wrong with dating someone older than you or younger than you as long as I feel like they are of legal age. But granted, if someone's like 18 and dating like a 35-year-old, I'm questioning you. That's creepy. But you guys know what I mean. But anyways, so they have a big age gap. Virginia's the party girl, wants to get drunk all the time, hang out with her friends, go to the bars. Eric is a pilot, so like his life is usually always on the go, but he's ready to settle down. I feel like Virginia's not at that age. I'm not gonna say age, because there's some people who did get married young and they're doing fine. I think she's not at the stage of settling down. She still wants to drink, still wants to party, and his friends even told her like, he's not the guy that does that. Eric is okay with staying home and eating dinner and watching a movie. And Virginia looks like she wants to party all the time. Whatever, I can't remember who that song is by, but that's the vibe I get from her. Even at the bachelorette party they had for the ladies, Virginia was drunk and was throwing up in the bathroom. Eric doesn't seem like he's the type to want to hold her hair while she's over the toilet throwing up from a hangover. He seems like he's going to be annoyed by that, and it's going to give him child vibes, and I don't know how well they're gonna work out. Now we have Brianna and Vincent. I was calling Vincent Papi Chulo because I literally could not remember his name. I think his last name is like Morales or something like that, so he is of Hispanic descent. Also, Brianna, beautiful black girl, they got together. So it looks like they're gonna do well. I don't want to get my hopes up because I think they're a cute couple. Like, I feel, although I think his brother is fine. I think his brother's really cute. But either way, Brianna looks like she's very attracted to him. She said it. He looks like he's very attracted to her. Even them taking the wedding photos together, really cute. They seem to vibe. They had really good chemistry. So I have a feeling that they're gonna work. I don't know. Granted, this is a show, and I think they're on the show for like 8 weeks. So you learn about people as you go on. So I think there may be like I wouldn't say a learning curve, but I'm sure that they're going to hit some roadblocks because they really don't know each other. Usually it's like, oh, you know, that love at first sight moment. I feel like that's the moment they had where they feel very connected to each other. But as time goes on, there's a chance that there may be something someone doesn't like about that other person, or they may argue. That's human-like behavior. People argue, whatever. So I don't know, but I have high hopes that they're gonna work it out, whatever they have, if they ever have any issues while being on the show. I feel like they're gonna work it out, and I honestly think that they're gonna last. At least show purposes, the full 8 weeks and like final decision day, I feel like Brianna and Vincent are gonna last. That's the goal I'm getting. I feel like though they're gonna be, they kind of remind me of Woody and Amani. Everything was like instant, the vibe, the chemistry, everything like that. So that's why I feel like they're gonna do well. That's the vibe they're giving me. Last but certainly not least, Chris and Paige. Jesus, take the wheel. That's how I have to start that off, because me and my friends have decided Chris was probably casted for the show. Because honestly, the stuff he was saying on this episode killed me. Like, I literally wanted to jump into the TV and slap him. Like, are you dumb? Like, what's wrong with you? So, you know, when we were getting to know each other, Paige was talking about she wants a God-fearing man. You know, she believes in God. If she were to find a guy that, you know, she felt she could be submissive to, she was down to be submissive. She wants kids. You know, she's ready for that fairy tale life, husband, wife, pearly gates, you know, big house, lots of kids. That's the vibe Paige gave me. Although it was weird because they had asked Paige if she would kiss him at the altar, and she was like, I don't know, we're just meeting. But then literally the next scene, sis was talking about how she doesn't like condoms, and she had lingerie she was going to pack for the wedding day. So I'm like, how did we go from not wanting to kiss your husband, granted he's a stranger, so I understand that that's awkward, to now saying you don't like condoms and, you know, thinking about sex and lingerie? That threw me off. It did. But when we got to Chris used to be an ordained minister. Can you used to be an ordained minister? I'm not sure. I won't say I'm religious. I do believe in God, but I'm not going to say like I'm fully religious. So I don't know what it's like of being like a minister. Do you stop being a minister? I don't know. But I think at some point he was an ordained minister. He said he was homeless at some point, you know, but now he makes a lot of money. I think he hit like 6 figures, whatever the case is. Then the man proceeds to tell us that he was engaged a few months ago before the show. Why are we on a show and we were engaged? Like, what healing did you get to do that now you're already on the show? And then he said that he felt like he's been put on this earth to have kids, to make children. He wants a maximum of 7. I think he said maximum. I don't think he said minimum, but maximum of 7. This man wants a whole football team. You know, he said he wants his wife to be submissive, to be a freak. And like, that sounds like Paige, you know? So on paper, on the surface, they sound like they can work. But when they got married, there was a lot that I was like, this ain't it. So first of all, she walked down the aisle, the man said, oh shit. So he wasn't attracted to her because he kept saying, you know, she's not the type of girl that I'm used to dating. Now, Paige is a dark-skinned girl, really curvy. I felt like he likes girls that have nice bodies, possibly girls who do like BBLs, you know, lipo, 360. No shade to anybody who does surgery, but I feel like that's the type of girls he's dated, and light-skinned girls. That's the vibe I get. I feel like he dates those girls. Because even when, after the wedding, her friends went to talk to him, and they were like, oh, you know, he was like, oh, yeah, she's not like a trophy wife. And the friend was like, yeah, she is a trophy wife, but you know. And he's like, no, she's not a trophy wife. And I'm like, her friends clearly were trying to say, like, she's deserving of being like a trophy wife in that sense of she's a great person. You know, she has a nice personality. She makes her own money. She owns a home, all that stuff. But for him, he was thinking of like basketball player and trophy wife, like the girl who does nothing, sit around, just looks cute. And he was like, no, that's not her. He mentioned her body multiple times. His dad mentioned her body, which was creepy as hell. Like, I wish they cut that out. That was so weird. And then Paige was having a conversation with the father and the mother. And Paige was listening to Chris's father, and the father was like, you know, when he comes home from work, you know, from a long day, like, you know, he's gonna want sex, so you should make sure you're pleasing him often. Excuse me? Excuse me? Why is your father talking to me about this? Because he wants grandkids. That's none of my business. I literally just met your son less than 24 hours ago, and you're talking about kids with me. That's creepy. Then they talked about tattoos, Paige and Chris. And Paige is like, oh, I have 3 tattoos. Chris is like, oh, I have 1. And he showed her. She's like, oh, this looks fairly new. He's like, yeah, me and my ex had our names tatted on each other. And 3 days before, you know, we got me and you getting married, I figure I should get that covered up. Now, granted, I feel like if you know you're not going to get into a relationship anytime soon, I understand there may not be an urgency to get that tattoo covered, but they are alerted at least 2 weeks before the show, before the actual married date, that they're going to get married. Sir, you had 2 weeks to get that done at least. Granted, you still have to go through the whole process of getting questioned to sign up for the show, go through casting, all that stuff. You had time to get that removed because you knew what type of show you were coming on. Why did you do that 3 days before y'all got married? That is weird. Then he was comparing Paige to his ex, like, oh, you have a dog? My ex has a dog too. Bro, it was so much wrong with the things he was saying. He was asking her if she was on birth control at the wedding, like as they're sitting eating their first meal together. Do you want kids? Honeymoon baby. I'm like, yo, you don't even know what she looks like naked. I don't even think you know her middle name if she has one. Like, y'all just met. She just learned your last name getting married. Okay? What is wrong with you, Chris? All I know is the previews for the season, the show is going to be wild. Chris and Paige are going to be the trouble. I don't even want to say Paige is the troublemaker. Chris is trying to make a name for himself. You know how there's certain characters on shows where you know they're doing the most so that we remember them? That's what Chris is doing. That's the vibe he gives me. He didn't even want to tell Paige what company he works for. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm one of like the highest paid, whatever he said, and then for some company. And then he was like, oh, now I flip houses. And she was like, oh, I own a home and I'm renting it out. And I think that threw him off guard because he wasn't expecting her to own a home. So it's like, you have a smart girl with a bomb body who has her own money because he swears that women were only after him for his money. Which, hey, could be the case. Who knows? But sis don't know you from a hole in the wall. So for you to keep bringing that up, it was really annoying to me. Either way, this is just gonna be I think an entertaining season or just drama-filled season. But to me, I don't want it to be that way in the sense of, yes, I want it to entertain us, but I don't want it to take away from the fact that these people are legally married. So like they should be taking marriage seriously and kind of forget that it is still like reality television in a sense. I want them to still take it seriously, like, wow, we're really married. Because to me, marriage is sacred. I don't want to do it more than once, you know? And it happens, some people do get married twice, some people don't get married at all. But for me, if I want to get married, I want it to be one time and one time only. So I guess for the sake of that, I would love all these couples to work out so that they don't have to go through a divorce, because they legit would have to legally go through a divorce. So I wouldn't want them to, but honestly, out of everybody, the ones that I see working out, I see Brianna and Vincent, I see Clara and Ryan working out. Virginia and Eric could possibly work out because maybe they'll balance each other. Virginia will loosen Eric up, and Eric will kind of teach Virginia how to like slow down and settle down and move more into her adulthood. Chris and Paige, I don't know. Again, like I said, on surface, they seem great together, but who really knows? And Haley and Jacob, I don't think they're gonna make it. But these are my predictions, and I'll be back at the end of the season to see if I was right and to let you guys know how I felt about the season overall. And that's it. So thank you for tuning in with me. I appreciate you guys as always. See you soon. Bye.